That Trump-Cruz battle getting so intense, top Republicans are taking sides. And when I rode with Senator Cruz on his campaign bus in New Hampshire yesterday, I started out by asking him about those new attacks from Trump.
Donald is getting really rattled. I mean, it's amazing. At every event, instead of actually talking about what he wants to do for the country, he just kind of stands up there and attacks me.
People do not like Ted, to put it mildly.
I like Donald Trump. I'll sing his praises.
Still like him?
Look, he is bold. He's brash. He's an amazing marketer. I mean, this man is an entertainer and marketer par excellence. And so I'm not going to attack him personally. Now, I will draw policy distinctions. I think that's fair game in politics. But the personal insults, no matter how ugly he gets, I will not respond.
You did seem to actually welcome the attack from Bob Dole. But how about the argument he's making? I mean, he repeated that no one likes Ted Cruz, but he also said he believes your candidacy, if you're the nominee, is going to cause cataclysmic losses.
Well, you know what? He omitted two words from what he meant to say, which is no one in Washington likes Cruz.
And that doesn't bother you?
Listen, I've said many, many times, the biggest divide we've got in this country politically, it's not between Democrats and Republicans. It's between career politicians in Washington in both parties and the American people.
What do you make of the fact that it seems like at some level, somewhere, a lot of top Republicans are coming around to the idea that Donald Trump would be a more electable nominee than he would be a better nominee?
It's not a question of electability. Listen to what they're saying. You're right that what we're saying is the Washington establishment is abandoning Marco Rubio, and they're rushing to Donald Trump, and they've explained why. Bob Dole yesterday explained why. He said Donald Trump is someone we can make a deal with. We can cut a deal. We can work with him. And listen, if you're someone in this country who thinks we need more Republicans in Washington to cut a deal with the Democrats to agree with Harry Reid and Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, then you ought to vote for Donald Trump.
Is he qualified to be commander-in-chief?
Well, you know, that's going to be a determination that the American people are making. And I will say, anyone who wakes up every day and sees a slight drop in the polls and responds in a frenzy of tweets, I would suggest that the next commander-in-chief, instead of living or dying by the daily polls and by the latest Twitter storm, should focus on identifying our enemies and doing whatever is necessary to keep this country safe. And as president, that's what I'm going to do.
You mentioned Marco Rubio. His super PAC, the super PAC who's supporting him, is putting up ads in Iowa right now, questioning your commitment to conservatives, saying you're switching you're switching positions on all kinds of issues.
In the last year alone, Cruz switched on immigration, Syrian refugees, ethanol, trade.
You know, 6 weeks ago, just about every Republican candidate in the field was attacking Donald Trump. Today, just about every Republican candidate in the field is attacking me.
So let's dig in on a couple of the issues on immigration. Donald Trump also says you're weak on immigration. You now believe that a path to legalization is amnesty. But back in 2013, you suggested that there could be a compromise on that. What would the compromise look like?
So look, I understand that Marco Rubio and Donald Trump are trying very, very hard to blur the lines here. But let's start with...
But you did say there could be a compromise.
No, a compromise that secures the borders but doesn't have amnesty.
No, but included a path to legalization.
No, I didn't say that. The lines are real simple. Marco Rubio stood with Chuck Schumer and Barack Obama and advocated for citizenship and amnesty for 12 million people here illegally. I stood with Jeff Sessions and Steve King and led the opposition that defeated amnesty. And I would note at that time, right in the middle of the fight, Donald Trump was publicly supporting amnesty. And by the way, you know, if you look more broadly, why does the Washington establishment think they can work with Donald Trump? Well, he supported Barack Obama's TARP bailout for the big banks, the Wall Street banks. He supported Barack Obama's stimulus plan. He said it should have been bigger. His view on Obamacare is rather than repeal it, we should expand it to make it socialized medicine for everyone. Really, Donald Trump...
He's recanted those positions.
But not very long ago. Look, for the first 60 years of his life, he supported partial birth abortion, he supported bailouts, he supported big bank cronyism. Not only that, his health care plan was, as far as I can tell, indistinguishable from Bernie Sanders. Both of them are proposing socialized medicine. Now, when Donald Trump announced as a Republican candidate, he says now he doesn't support it. But, you know, voters all across this country, they're tired of being burned.
We're out of time right now, but you talked about your daughters campaigning for you, winning some votes. The Obamas famously promised their girls a dog if they won. So what's your promise to your daughters?
Well, I have made the same promise. They get a second dog. We haven't discussed what kind, but if we win, we get a second dog. They have right now a little white fluff ball. It's a rescue dog named Snowball. And we live in a condo that doesn't have a backyard. And Caroline, our 7-year-old, she looks at me and says, "Okay, Daddy, I've decided it's okay if you run for president. Because if you win, it means Snowball will have a backyard to pee in."
Senator, thanks very much.
Thanks, George.
Now, the daughters also have some decorating plans for their rooms in the White House. We have that and the whole interview up on our website right now. That's at goodmorningamerica.com on Yahoo.